If you've ever felt like something about you is not right or not enough or should be hidden, you're not alone. This video is part of a series inspired by my book, Redeemed, Bought for a Price, Broken for a Purpose. And today we're focusing on the chapter called Redeeming My Shame. I don't mean the kind of shame that comes from a mistake you made last week, but the deeper kind that settles in over time and begins shaping how you see yourself. One of the most important distinctions I've learned is the difference between guilt and shame. So, guilt says, I did something wrong, but shame says, I am something wrong. Guilt can lead to growth, but shame leads to hiding. Shame doesn't always show up the ways we expect it to. Sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's quiet. And for those of us who quietly carry it, shame shapes how we see ourselves over time, even without us realizing it. It doesn't just point to behavior, but shame attacks identity. It whispers that if people really knew us, they would pull away. And over time, shame stops being about a moment and it starts becoming a lens through which we see ourselves and others and the world around us. Shame is sneaky. It doesn't always show up as obvious self-criticism, though many of us do have that inner critic that runs quietly in the background or not so quietly. Um, but shame can sometimes look like perfectionism or over-explaining. Sometimes it looks like staying quiet when you want to speak, or it can take the form of people pleasing or self-doubt or constantly feeling like you have to prove your worth or earn your worth. And often we don't even recognize that that's what's driving us. There's a difference between wanting to work hard and grow and be your best versus feeling that you need to be the best and never allowing yourself to fall short. That pressure is often rooted in shame. Shame thrives in silence and it grows when it's unchallenged. For me, shame showed up as believing that I needed to earn belonging. Growing up, my adoptive mother warned me that if anyone ever knew me the way she knew me, they wouldn't like me. And she would also tell me, I love you, but I don't like you. So I internalized that message that if I could just be better, stronger, smarter, more put together, then maybe I would finally be acceptable. But no amount of striving ever silenced that voice. It only made it louder. But things began to change when I realized that shame was never telling me the truth about who I am. And that's where my redemption story begins. When I realized that I'm a child of God, created in his image, and that he loves me just as much on my worst day as he does on my best, and that he's not going to change his mind about me. That realization reframed my identity. It didn't erase the past, but it separated who I am from what I've done and what I've been through and what's been spoken over me. It replaced the false story with the truth. Healing shame doesn't mean pretending that pain didn't happen. It means learning to stay present instead of hiding, to speak instead of shrinking, and to allow yourself to make mistakes and learn from them and receive grace instead of punishment. If shame has been shaping the way that you see yourself, I would like to tell you that you are not the worst thing you've done. You're not the worst thing that's been done to you, and you're not the hardest thing you've survived. And if you've had cruel words spoken over you, they don't have to define you. They don't get the final say. The truth is, you have a heavenly Father who loves you and whose image you were created in, and he wants you to get to know him. That's the first step in healing the wound of shame and walking in freedom. If this resonates with you, the chapter Redeeming My Shame in my book, Redeemed, goes deeper into this journey, and I'll link it below. Let's continue the conversation. I would love to connect with you.